Hey, I'm Mike with vidmuse.com, and today's video is going to answer many questions that we get from you guys regarding what tools or aerial gear do you bring when out in the field doing professional aerial cinematography. Now, over the years, we accumulated a lot of field trays, 9 to be exact. It seems a little redundant, but you know, that's all part of it. We always say with aerial cinematography, you have to have redundancy, backups, 2 or more of everything, including drones. You always want to be prepared for the unexpected. My dad always taught me that, and it has paid off. So we have tray number 1. Now, tray number 1 is pretty much what we use most of the time. So we have our Velcro straps that we use a lot, our bongo ties. We have customized rocker switches here that we have for PTAP, DTAP, JST there. Different rocker switches for XT60s that are actually on our gimbals now. We have custom built cables here, a single XT60 to a 3-way XT60 there for multiple accessories when flying. We have these, which are balance tap extenders. This is nice whenever we have our 4S's or 3S's. We have quiet screamers, which are these guys here, that we can actually put on so that we don't drain down those 4S's or 3S's when using them on our radios and our radio trays. So we use our extensions for that. Again, a lot of custom cables here, some JSTs there, XT60s, various things that we have built over the years. Then we have our regular screamers. Again, redundancy. We always use 2 per flight, but we have 5 in there. Again, just many backups in case you lose one breaks. You got to have as many as you can. We have 2 additional Black Mamba video transmitters. You got to always, again, have redundancy. We have 1 on each of our ships and 2 spares. We also have our 5.8 gigahertz antennas here. We've got our mushrooms. We've got blue beam antennas here. Again, lots of spares for both transmitters and receivers. Then we have many voltage meters. We're constantly using these. Usually the pilot and safety officer always have one in their pocket. We have 4 of those. We have here are the Connex power cables. So for the power to the Connex with the XT60s, again, multiple ones there. Here we have just, again, paraphernalia, XT60s to AC jacks that can go into the Connex. Again, just extras. A lot of redundancy going on here. We're always going to this first tray, and that's why we put the stuff we use mostly first. Next, we have tray number 2. Now, this is our Movi tray, so for ground or aerial. So going over these things, starting from left to right. So we have these little guys. These are 15 mil rail accessory ports. They can go, again, for ground use if we need them, but also aerial use. We use them on the back of our gimbal legs, on the aero legs, to help hold our batteries on. Also to add weight if we need. We have a 4-way PTAP here that allows, again, for additional power. Again, more for ground use than in the air. We have cheese plates here. Again, just paraphernalia to use for various things. Movi accessories there. We have a lot of Movi bolts here, M3s, M4, M2 screws. We have the small 15 mil rails that go on for our follow focus when we're going to be using that on the Movi, whether in the air or on the ground. Here we have 3/8 to 1/4-20 converters, as well as a few tripod 3/8 there. But this is great when using for flying red, when you need 2 points of connection on the bottom, just for extra security. The Movi does not support 3/8, it only supports 1/4-20, so you would convert that for red so that you can get 2 bolts in the bottom. And then we have our 1/4-20 bolts. We've got our longer ones here, shorter ones for Movi, and then the real stubby little guys for the top of Movi, and again, we use these for red. But again, have many bolts, lots of redundancy. You can lose these things very easily, and you don't ever want to run out. We have these impact atom clamps that are great, work for attaching accessories on our ground gimbals. Again, paraphernalia for more gimbal stuff. And then we have, lastly, our start and stop cables, power cables, M5 tube for going to aerial mode. We have a red start and stop cable here. It goes in the sync port of the red. All things related to Movi. That is in tray number 2. All right, tray number 3, HDMI cables and power cables. This is where all of our HDMI cables live. We got full HDMI to HDMI, we have HDMI to mini, we have mini to micro, HDMI to micro, micro to micro, pretty much everything and anything HDMI related. We've got some right angles here for our Connect systems. We've got the mini to full, just kind of help. We use these so that we don't keep plugging and unplugging our Connects cables. It will wear those ports out. Again, as we've said in many other tutorials, HDMI, it is a consumer cable. It will wear out over time, so you want to utilizing those connectors as much as possible. They will give out over time, and unfortunately expensive to fix. Here we built some custom cables, again, XT60 to DTAP or PTAP. We've got a couple of females, a couple of males in there. Again, you can never have too many of these things. Always accessories that need converting, and it's great to have these cables. Next, we have our 4-pin LEMO to XT60 and also to PTAP for our red, for powering red. And then we have plenty, again, of extension cables. We've got our micro to full HDMI here. This is a custom power cable for JST to power Blackmagic. So just anything and everything we can power, just about any camera, have any connection via HDMI. We've got a lot of right angles here, also HDMI converters as well, from full to mini, but also to micro as well. So again, anything HDMI, tray number 3. Next, tray number 4, we have all of our tools. Now, out in the field, if you ever have to repair anything, yes, you need your wire cutters. We have wire strippers, some nice tin snips. We have lots of fine, intricate tools here for repairing various things. We have double-sided tape here, more Velcro, large Velcro straps, adjustable wrench. We have our hex tools, Movi tools, more hex, Phillips, everything tool related, and of course more Velcro straps. We have a star wrench here as well, a winometer, a razor blade, again, stuff to connect, repair, what have you. Tray number 4, tools. Next, tray number 5, more bolts and wire ties. So all this stuff is various things. Yes, we do have spare FPV cams, GPS. We have epoxy here in case we need to glue anything. Nice flashlight, business cards, always have those on hand. We have our Loctite here to, yes, put on our bolts when we need to screw them in, make sure they don't vibrate loose. Paraphernalia for our radio trays, lots of extra pieces there. We have measuring tape in meters as well as feet. Again, plenty of bolts, M2s, M3s, M4s, various lengths. Again, extras, lots of them, spare parts for the Movi. With all the adjusting you do as far as removing legs, adjusting the Movi, bolts will start to strip. You want to be able to replace those. You do not want to strip out in the field. That came out totally wrong. You do not want to strip a bolt when out in the field. Spare GPS for our Movies. Washers, again, extra. This is a big one, extra Movi clamps. The plastic clamps, they should be made of aluminum, but they are plastic to save weight. They will break. Make sure you have spares of those. You have your nylon locking nuts here, again, that Movi uses all the time. So plenty of extras there. And then, yes, of course, the lifesavers, wire ties. Large, small, medium, whatever you got, you will need them. Have plenty of them. Tray number 6, SDI cables. Yes, everything SDI and everything is all here. We have our USB power cables that can power up our converters. We have various types of converters. You've got the lighter, cheaper ones here, HDMI to SDI. It'll take a SDI in, output HDMI, which is great. Again, many of those. You've got to have your extras. Then we have a little more heavier duty here, but SDI in, HDMI out. It requires power for these. These all do require power. Now, we have built various cables. Like here we have your AC adapter, which would plug into these more heavier dutier converters, but then we power them off of our receivers. It just requires 5 volts, so you have plenty of extra cables there. And then we have the mini USB to servo cable to power our HDMI converters, because their power input is the mini USB. So yes, in some cases you need to go from SDI, like on a Blackmagic or a Red, if you don't want to see Rec 709 output on the HDMI. So you have SDI in to HDMI out, but sometimes you need to go backwards. HDMI in and SDI out. So if you want to go ahead and convert this for a field monitor, your Kinects obviously only outputs HDMI, so you could plug your Kinects to the HDMI in, output SDI into a professional field monitor. So you've got those, power adapters for those. Plenty of SDI barrels. This is used for connecting two SDI connectors or cables together. Your SDI 90-degree angles. Again, many of those redundancy. These are great on using on Red or Blackmagic to bend your cables 90 degrees so that they work well on your gimbals. And then, yes, the ultra-thin SDI cables. Now, all these SDIs are not 3G compliant. They're only 1080 or would support 1080. This is fine when running for gimbal if you're just trying to send a 1080p signal back to Video Village. But if you're ever using your SDI onto like a record deck, say on a movie on the ground, make sure it's 3G compatible if you're going to be using for 4K. So keep that in mind. Again, more AC adapters for backups when running AC power on the ground to power these converters. And then lastly, we have Alexa Mini to PTAP. We have two of those power cables to, yes, power the Alexa Mini when using it on the gimbal. Anything SDI, here it is in tray number 6. Then tray number 7, Ulta parts. So very simply, yes, we have our prop connectors, spares of those. We have more toad in the holes, the male here. We also have one on our Ninja Star that we use for car mounts and whatnot. Then we have just paraphernalia that, yes, can use on the Ulta. More servo connectors here with kill switches for radios. Then all of the Ulta dampening systems. Again, plenty of the red, the green, and the black for those. We have extra stickers here. These are battery indicators, let you know if it's full or discharged. Basically switch them to red and green. Plenty of those if they pop off of our batteries. Then we have telemetry here, which we use on our Taranis radio. That's not Ulta related, that's actually gimbal related. It fits here in the case, but this is for sending voltage information back to our Taranis radio for the gimbal to know when our camera is going to die or when our gimbal is going to die. And then lastly, we have, yes, spare straps, power cables for our FPV cams, O-rings for our props and motors there. Again, more extras for the Ultas. Alright, tray number 8, we have Kinects paraphernalia. So here we have our 5.8 gigahertz antennas. This is for ground use. We use on our ground gimbal. We then have our SMA to MCCX connectors here that we use to convert the Kinect standard to SMA. The Kinects Mini already has SMA, so it's great. We can just connect directly to it. And then, yes, all of our spare antennas here for our Kinects units. We have multiple transmitters and receivers. They are stored in another case, but this is all the extra stuff. So more clamps to connect it. We have spare antennas for aerial use for both the Mini and the standard. We have these little guys, which are great. These allow you to do wire ties and sticky adhesive, so you can basically tie, say, the power cable to the Kinects, and that way you're not likely to snap off the power cable. They're very thin cables and very easy to break. Paper clips. The Kinects Mini requires a small paper clip or needle to set the sync button there and press that in, so you need little paper clips there. And then, yes, we have our 90-degree arms here for, again, more aerial use, more extra antennas. That concludes all of the Kinects spare parts. And last but not least, tray number 9. And in here we have spare 5.8 gigahertz receiver antennas for, this is for our FPVing. We've got our helicals here. We have solder in here. We have a little soldering station, a cheapo soldering gun. You may have to solder, a battery connector when out in the field. Permanent markers, heat shrink, gaff tape, and we have our green and our orange, which is used for orientation. We always use our greens in the backs and our orange up front. But if that tape ever wears out, we can go ahead and replace that. We have a multi-tool in here as well, and also an AC adapter for our soldering gun, and thinner double-sided tape for anything else. So that concludes tray number 9. Now, yes, a lot of you may say, wow, that's a lot of crap to take with you. It is a lot of crap to take with you, but you know what? Redundancy will save your butt out in the field. So that wraps up today's video. So those of you who, yes, want to learn more about aerial cinematography, you can check out our website. The link will be down below. So yes, you can see our awesome drone tutorial series for filmmakers. Depending on what version you go with, we have ones for DJI Inspire users, but also Ulta users or heavy lifters in general. But depending on what tutorial series you go with, yes, we have over 175 tutorials in the Ulta series. The DJI has a few less. It's about 4 hours of content with the DJI, 6 hours with the Ulta. It's a lot of content. If those of you who want to go ahead and test it before buying, you can go ahead and do so. We do have a preview available. All you have to do is sign up. It is free. There's no money involved. And yes, you can get 57 tutorials for free. You can go ahead and check it out and see what our training style is like to see if it's something you guys want to go ahead and purchase and try to advance yourselves in the filmmaking industry from the air. Well, again, I'm Mike with VidMuse.com. That wraps it up for today. We'll see you again soon.